Hello, it's Wendy Lane Wright, the Hollywood Talent Manager, Los Angeles, California. And in these videos, we're talking about how to put your package together. And that means your headshots, your resume, and your acting clips. And we've talked in the last video about your headshots and the importance of shooting with a professional headshot photographer. Now we're going to talk about your acting resume. Okay, your resume is a snapshot of what you are doing in your acting career. So all I have to do is look at your resume and I know exactly what you are doing in your acting career, right? Because it has your training on there. If you've done any theater whatsoever, you put that on there. If you've done any student films or short films or any films whatsoever, you put that under films. If you've done any television, you'd put that under TV. If you haven't done any TV, you won't have any on there. I'll know that you haven't done that yet. If you haven't done any films, you won't have that on there. I'll know you're not there yet. So your resume tells us a lot. The resume is in two places. You create a resume like in Word or whatever, and you print that out. You put it on the back of your headshot. It should be cut down to 8 by 10. Okay, you don't want 8.5 by 11. When you print your resume out from your printer, it'll come out 8.5 by 11. But all headshots are 8 by 10. So your headshot will be 8 by 10. You need to cut your resume down to 8 by 10 and then staple it to the back of your resume. All headshots and resumes must be stapled. If it gets into the casting office and they're not stapled, they fall apart, they'll just throw it away because they'll find your resume with no picture, or they'll find your picture with no resume, they won't know who you are, and they'll just toss it in the trash. So you've got to staple them 4 corners or top and bottom, and make sure it's, don't glue it. That's a waste of time because you have to keep updating your resume every time you get a new theater job, every time you get a new TV show, every time you get a new film, and every time you take a new class. You constantly keep updating your resume, so you don't want it glued to the back of a headshot because then you just wasted that headshot. Okay, so just staple it. Okay, now on your resume, you need to have strong acting training. What we're looking for when we sign an actor, I'm a manager, I used to be an agent, I'm a manager. And so when I sign an actor, I'm looking for someone who's got acting training. I don't want an amateur. I can't send an amateur to casting directors because that makes me look very bad and they won't call my actors in. You understand? And I have actors on my roster that I need to bring them in the audition room. So I won't send anyone who's an amateur to a casting director. Not going to happen. So that being said, your training is really, really important. I'm looking at it to decide if I'm going to sign you, and a casting director is looking at it to decide if they're going to bring you in for an audition. So what kind of training goes on there? Well, we were looking for scene study, on-camera techniques, audition techniques, improvisation, voice, dance, sing, these kind of things. And we're looking for cold reading skills. We're looking for character development, things like that. So you should have, first of all, when anyone starts out with a resume, when any actor has ever started out becoming an actor, they did not have a resume. So don't feel bad if you don't have anything on your resume yet. That's okay. Nobody ever has something on their resume when they start. No one. It takes years to build a resume. And Denzel Washington is still building his resume. He doesn't use resumes anymore per se. I mean, we all know who he is, right? But if he was writing down his movies every time he does one, his resume would keep growing and growing and growing. So you're always building your resume. That's but everyone starts with nothing on it. It starts blank. Every star you see on television, every star you see in the films, their resume was blank at one time too. So don't let that stop you. What you have to do is carefully and slowly over the years keep adding acting teachers, adding another teacher, adding another class, and another class, and another class. That's what you do. Every 6 months you take a new class and you just keep adding it, and over the years you start having a lot of acting classes on there, a lot of training. Make sense? It's not brain surgery. You might not have thought of it, but it's not brain surgery. I'm not inventing the wheel here. I'm just telling you how it's done. Okay? So your acting classes, you take a cold reading class, and that maybe lasts 8 weeks. Put that on your resume. Then you take a scene study class for 8 weeks. Put that on your resume. Then you take an acting program for 3 months. Put that on your resume. You take an improvisation class for 6 months. Put that on your resume. Then another acting class, 6 months. But then you take an on-camera class for 2 weeks. Put that on your resume. You get it? Okay. Now, what else should you be doing to build your resume? Theater, darling. You must be doing the theater. I'm an actor. You need to be doing as much theater as you can. Theater is a great... I started in theater, darling, when I was 8 years old. I carried a tray across the stage and I was like, oh my God, I'm in love with this experience. And I've always been an actor ever since. It's really, really, really important to do theater because you get a script. You have to figure out the characters and figure out your relationships with the other characters, and you memorize your lines, and then you figure out how you're going to say them, and every night it's fresh and live, and you can be in the moment, and you might say it, you can do it differently. I fucking love theater. I don't know about you, but I love it. In fact, I should probably get back into doing some theater. It's been quite a while, darling, since I've done any. But I love the theater. I love going to the theater, and I love being on stage doing plays. I love the working with other actors, and I love telling the story, and I love being on stage working with other actors and being in those moments, those spontaneous moments and the interaction. I love it. Now, how much is too much theater? There's never too much theater, darling. But you need to start putting some plays on there, plays from your school, community theater, professional theater. Get some theater done, get some theater on there. You should also start creating online profiles on LA Casting. That's like one of the #1 online platforms in the world, LA Casting. If you're in LA and it's called Casting Networks, anywhere else in the world, create an LA Casting profile so you can start submitting yourself to smaller projects and bigger projects. They have all of Fox Television and all of 20th Century Fox Films. There's like tons and tons and tons of TV and film on there. You have got to set up your profile and start submitting yourself for student films, short films, web series, commercials, TV shows and films, etc. And get experience auditioning and get experience acting. And every time you book a role and you shoot it, put it on your resume. Put the next one on your resume and the next one. This short film, this student film, this web series. Then you put this short film, this feature film, this indie film. You keep putting films on under film. And when you book a TV show, you put it under TV. And you just keep building your resume over the next 30 years. Make sense? So when casting looks at your submission, the first thing they notice is your headshot. They're looking, is it professional? Let me see. Does it show personality, character, emotion? Let me see. Yes? Okay, now I'm going to look at the resume. They have training? They've taken this training, that training, that training. Okay, good. They have some training. They may know how to act. That's what they're trying to see, if you know how to act. That's why they're looking at the training, to see if you've been learning how to act. Because like I told you in previous videos, they only hire actors who can act. You would think that this doesn't need to be said, but trust me, it does. Now, what are they going to look at after they've looked at your resume? Well, we're not done yet. No. Guess what? They're looking for spelling. Did you know that? They want to see that you're spelling things correctly. That you are putting the right information on a resume. For example, when you do a film, you either have a supporting role or you have the lead. It's one or the other, supporting or lead, either or. And when you do television, you're either the series regular, or you are a recurring character that shows up on several episodes, or you're a guest star that's usually about one episode, or you're a co-star that maybe is like a small line or two. That is how television is built. Series regular, recurring, guest star, co-star. If you did a film and you write co-star, you don't know what you're talking about. And if we see that on a resume, we go, oh, these people are new. They don't know what they're talking about. If you're new and you don't know what you're talking about, we're not likely going to bring you in the audition room, are we? No. Because you're too new. That means you don't know what the hell you're doing. And we only bring in what? Professional, experienced actors into the audition room. So that means it's up to you to understand what your resume should look like, because since we don't know you, we've never met you, we don't know, you could work for Greenpeace and be feeding the homeless, and you rescued 6 dogs, and you brought your grandmother flowers. You could be the nicest person in the world. We don't know you. It's not about you. It's not about you, who you are as a human being. It's about, what do I see on the resume? Is this showing me a professional actor, or is this showing me a new actor who has no idea what they're doing? That's what we're looking for. If things are spelled wrong, we go, this actor doesn't even care, is not even paying attention to their career. They didn't even notice that the word "the" was spelled wrong on their resume. We are not bringing them in front of a casting director, and we are certainly not putting them on set with James Franco. I mean, if they're not even paying attention to the word "the," how are they going to pay attention to a whole script? You see, that's what we think when we see mistakes on your resume. You might think it's no big deal, but to us, it tells us whether or not you're going to come in for an audition or not. It's that simple. So that's why I'm telling you, because that is where most actors screw up for years. You don't get it. You have the wrong billing. You have supporting under TV. You have co-star under film. Your training is supposed to be like what you studied. Scene study, the teacher you studied it with, and the school you studied it at. 3 columns on a resume. If you've got 4 columns on there, you don't know what you're doing. And if you don't know what you're doing, we don't give you an audition, and you don't get signed by agents or managers. Okay, so that's why it's important to learn how to format a fucking professional resume. These are the standard tools. This is the bare minimum. This isn't even about your acting skills yet. We don't even look at your demo reel yet. If we didn't like the headshots, we throw your submission out. If we didn't like your resume because you had things all wrong, we throw it out. We're not even at your acting clips yet. Okay, now we look at your clips. Now we're looking to see if you're a good actor. You better be great. You better be great, or we're not going to call you into the office to meet you to be signed. And we're not going to call you in for an audition if you're a casting director. It's not going to happen. So we're going to talk more about what your acting clips have to be in the future videos that I'm going to do. Right now, let's just finish up on this resume video. In my Facebook group, Talent Managers for Actors on Facebook, go join it if you haven't yet. You can type in the search bar resumes, and you will come up with all kinds of conversations about resumes and samples of correctly formatted resumes. So you can go in there and look at what a correctly formatted resume looks like and copy it. Don't try to invent the wheel. It already exists. You have to learn what it is, and then you have to do it. Make sense? Now, you have 2 places, I said, that your resume is. The hard copy that you staple and put on the back, and your online one on your LA Casting or your Actors Access or your Backstage. You have your LA Casting, and you are putting in all your stuff. You're putting in the name of the films and the whether you were sleep and the production company. So you got the name of the film. My thing keeps stopping, which is really strange. I don't know why. Anyway, the name of the film, the role, which was lead or supporting, and then the director. That's what you want to have in the 3 columns. And so on your LA Casting, you're going to put those things on your online resume, because when you submit for jobs, whether you have an agent or manager, that's what the casting directors see. They see your LA Casting profile. They see your Actors Access profile. That's how they decide whether they want to bring you in for an audition or not, by what's on your LA Casting. So I just met an actor the other day who has her hard copy. She's like, oh, I haven't been updating my Actors Access. You have to update your Actors Access, because that's what goes in the casting director's inbox, in their email. Right? When they open their breakdown services and they look at all these submissions, and then they look at their emails and they look at your links to Actors Access, they're looking at your resume. And what's on there is the only thing they know about you. So you have to keep it current and updated. You have to keep every new thing you do on there. Every time you do something new, you update your online profile and you update your hard copy resume. Make sense? Okay. That's it for now. If you're finding this content helpful and you like what you hear, please subscribe to my channel and look at all the other videos. Go watch the older videos. Get out a pen. There are people using these videos for homeschooling. There are people who sit with my videos with a notebook and take notes, and then they take screenshots of it and then they email them to me. People use these videos as training because where the hell else are you getting this information? Well, there's one other place you can get this information. It's called the Hollywood Winners Circle. It is my online course I created, and it's 65 training videos teaching you exactly how to build your package, how to get representation, how to meet casting directors, what to do in auditions, and how to market yourself on social media. There is no place in the world where all this information is in one place. In addition to that, there are really helpful PDFs that go with every video with tons of links and lots of other actor resources so that everything you need is all in one location. Okay, so that's for you. If you're interested in taking my course, there's also a private Facebook group that goes with it. Only actors taking the course are allowed in the group, and in there we are talking with professional working actors. They go live in the group. I'm in the group answering questions if you have any, and it's a really loving and wonderful supportive community. We have over 500 actors taking the course, and you are welcome to join us. If you really want to be on TV and film, I highly suggest you get the course as soon as possible so you can start doing the right things and you can get on TV and film. That's important. If you really want this, there's a course for you. So HollywoodWinnersCircle.com, subscribe, like, and thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Ciao bella.